Welcome back, all you beautiful viewers, to the Esports Rewind podcast. It's been a heck of a week. It's going to keep on being so, and we hope you guys all enjoy. Thanks to all of you guys who have been leaving comments. Do you want to do our typical doodah and then get into it?
Our typical doodah. Let's do it.
You know, last podcast we talked a lot about the hard C because a Call of Duty pro known as Cammy was actually given sensitivity training for it. We actually had a lovely lady out there, Megan, comment saying, female here, regarding the C word, I couldn't care less. I use it when people are acting like one. I don't think it should be that big of a deal, especially in the manner and context that he used it. Thank you, Megan. A lot of the comments last week were about that story. What's yours?
Well, again, thank you to someone named TJ who just says, I stand this duo. I mean, it just warms our hearts.
Thanks, TJ. You know, after this week, we really need that, and we will keep you all posted. You ready to get into these crazy stories?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, wackadoo, whack-a-mole. Here they are. What? And of course, we got to talk about it, the brand new 100 Thieves co-owner, something we do not see very often, and I would go on a limb to say some of the first ever solely creators and streamers, especially when it comes time for Valkyrae, might be one of the first female creators to ever get ownership, especially in a very, very heavily valued esports and gaming brand out there, that being 100 Thieves, welcoming Valkyrae and Courage as their brand new co-owners.
I could not be more excited to be sitting next to two of my closest friends and now business partners. This is a long time coming for the history of 100 Thieves. You guys have invested your entire careers and what you've built up into this point so thoughtfully and so contagiously and so collaboratively throughout the years with this organization. And I don't think there's any greater honor than to welcome you guys as co-owners of this incredible team that we've built together.
And right when I say that, I know a lot of people are thinking the same thing, right? Are we all thinking about?
I don't know, you tell me.
Nikki Mio, mine, Nikki Burks?
Yeah, I mean, just RIP that situation, I guess, at this point.
I guess first we'll talk about, I mean, it's crazy, right? The fact that you are streaming, you're creating content. The road for Courage and Valkyrae have been just, I mean, both their stories are incredible, where they have come from, the background for a guy like Courage being an intern, and then his time in the Call of Duty scene doing several different things, and of course his come up as a streamer, then with Optic, then with Fortnite. It's a wild ride. Same to that of Valkyrae to make it this far, and now to be co-owners, it's just tremendous.
I was going to say, I do really enjoy kind of all of their backgrounds, you know, having Nadeshot, having Courage, having Valkyrae, that all of them have these like crazy stories of like a huge come up pretty much, and like are in these like massive positions at this point, and just the fact that they were able to move into an ownership position is really cool. And I know you've probably gotten tired of me ranting about this during the week in the office, but Creator Economics podcast with Reed and Blake, they talked about how creators should get more into the side of equity and ownership, and how that's really the long-term goal and how it's going to benefit you so much more. So it was so cool to see them doing that right after, like immediately, like they've got ownership now and they're like playing the long game.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing a lot more creators and streamers take that angle when they, you know, approach these partnerships, is like, you know, let's forego the upfront lump sum of cash and let's, you know, go long term with equity. But yeah, this obviously on, you know, for some people, this is a pretty big scale to be having some equity in 100 Thieves.
Right.
And the offside of that, I think we saw right away, people were like 5%. Nick Merckx, 100 Thieves, Nadeshot, naturally, right? That's what happens. The bigger part of the story is a huge congratulations. But Nick Merckx, knowing the spot he is in, shortly after tweeting, I mean, within an hour of the post going live, he says, nothing but love from me and the M fan, but I'm FaZe up, you know, I'm FaZe. So it'll be cool to see if eventually, now FaZe Clan, you have to imagine how far along they are. Opening up ownership opportunities is probably very difficult.
But you said some people might be interested in, you know, getting rid of their ownership, right?
Yeah, we have rumors of Banks and Rain possibly getting rid of and selling their ownership. Who knows if FaZe buys that back and says, here you go, Nikki. So that would be a really, really cool full circle. I know that we have often talked about Nadeshot and Nick Merckx because he has jabbed at it here and there. You know, 5% of 100 Thieves nowadays is probably worth a heck of a lot of money. So I don't think that's going to be over, but hopefully the full circle of that story is realizing everyone is now in such good positions. And if that ends with FaZe Clan giving Nikki some ownership, hey, who could argue against that? So two brand new co-owners of 100 Thieves, Valkyrae and Courage, a huge congratulations. And an ongoing story that you have been covering, I'm sure some of you watching have also seen it, that being Ludwig, the subathon over there on Twitch is still freaking ongoing at the point of us recording. Now, I believe just breaking the 3-week mark and then some. It's just been, I mean, the amount of money been tossed out. Of course, he's already mentioned where a lot of that money is going, but the fact he is now the second most ever subscribed to Twitch streamer, only the second to ever break that 200,000 subscriber mark. It's just so weird to see a man living his regular life I mean, it's just really weird. We're all just watching him live, and we're just keeping him going.
Well, maybe not his regular life, I would argue, but his life for sure. It is interesting.
I guess I should say the regular sense being that he's just still sleeping.
Yeah.
As much as a regular person likely
Sleeps,
is.
eats, brushes his teeth, all that.
Makes time for his lady and then goes back. And of course his mods have done a fair share of the load as well, but it's weird.
Yeah, it's cool to see him. I mean, I know there's a lot of different opinions about this. For me, this feels like more of a community effort than maybe, I know Ninja people decided to sub to him and he got this massive record. But at the same time, it's cool to see this like very drawn out, like, hey, we all want to do this. We want to get Ludwig to this point. And like you said, it's been like, almost 3 weeks. And he's getting to that cap pretty soon. He's got a 30-day cap. And so we'll see what happens if he runs out of time. But like you said, he did add some time on his own. He started like a 10-minute timer or something where all subs were matched just so he could spend time with QT.
Yeah, which is awesome to see. Also awesome to see is as he slowly approaches the 269,000, a little bit over that is Ninja's record. Ninja's records from Fortnite now, I believe a couple of years back, the concurrent viewership record was actually broken in the past few months, and now his all-time sub record could potentially be broken. These are feats that I'm sure a lot of people were thinking would last maybe 5 years, maybe a decade. Who really knows, right? It's just showing the growth of the sphere and the community over there, not only on Twitch, but in streaming in general, especially when I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it's torture, right? Like obviously there's a monetary benefit, there's a great benefit for Ludwig, but there's something that is driving obviously people to keep him going. Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, definitely. And his mods did stand up for him in that fact of a lot of people started to get concerned a little bit about his health. Like, oh no, like you guys need to let Ludwig free. Like he's been doing this for so long. He's got to be in rough shape. And his mods were like, no guys, if he was actually not okay, then he would stop. Like, he's aware enough to like stop this if he needs to. And so that's good to know, in the back of our minds that he's not really being tortured, by the situation.
Just trapped, like he actually can't leave.
Right.
His mods are the ones that are keeping the timer going. Like, we find out it's some huge conspiracy.
But it is incredible to see him approaching this goal because, Ninja's record was set back when, Twitch Prime became a thing and he was big on Fortnite. And so he plugged that Twitch Prime thing. And I remember seeing just the subs flood in from Twitch Prime.
Yeah, that was a spike of an era and time for Fortnite and on Twitch with Ninja that has been unrivaled. For Ludwig, it's been some tremendous viewership, but it's been much more, it's obviously been just progressive. It's just been steadily, where Ninja, it was just, yes, it was over a long amount of time, but there were just huge spikes of viewership that, again, a lot of streamers will never see. So we will see Ludwig Subathon does continue. Will he break Ninja's record is now the next milestone he has set. Hey guys, Hunter and I want to take a quick second to talk to you about Grubhub. Grubhub delivers all your favorite food from your favorite local restaurants right to your front door.
I should know because I literally get paid in chicken wings.
And if you want to see Grubhub's Feeding Frenzy event in partnership with Buffalo Wild Wings, just go to the YouTube channel link in the description for the VOD. Watch as teams featuring Yasuo, Nightblue, Dylan Francis, and many more face off in League of Legends. And if you're looking to place an order, make sure to check out Grubhub perks for rewards at your favorite restaurants. Save money with things like $1 off deals, free deliveries, and even free food. Download the Grubhub app today and check out Grubhub perks to start saving immediately on the food you love. So make sure to use the code during the midseason invitational weekend for your chance to win.
And now back to those handsome guys over at the podcast.
And next up, we got good old Tfue and his run of luck. I don't know if I want to call it luck, but his unfortunate circumstances with Twitch rivals, they do continue. It was actually the Minecraft Mystery Games this past week. Tfue and team costed a first place prize of $12,000, all due to an in-game setting. Apparently, a setting was a bit changed that should not have been, that being a brightness setting a bit too high, giving him some advantages during the tournament, which he did find out, it seemed to be very last second, as they were announcing the winners. They had been told that apparently they've been deducted so many points they would not be winning, and they find out live on stream that it was for Tfue's brightness setting. This just goes kind of a run that he has had in Rivals events. Last time we talked about a Rivals event Tfue was in was when XQC was stream sniping.
Fall Guys.
Yeah,
he just got bad luck, man, at this point. I don't know.
It was in the rules, and there were, again, there's a lot of sides to this, but, obviously the most basic part is it was in the rules. And so he was obviously very frustrated by such a simple thing costing him a decently sized bag for him and his teammates. And there were other people out there then pointing out that other creators had also had the same setting, but they obviously weren't about to win the event, so maybe had gone unnoticed a little bit. But yeah, certainly a lot of back and forth frustrations for Tfue.
That's got to be so rough. And just thinking about it, like, I mean, this is all like I'm just assuming here, I guess, but you have to think that someone went out of their way to be like, his brightness is too high, reported to Twitch rivals, and like someone had to go tell them at the last minute for them to get all those points deducted, and it's just rough. And like, we don't know, I mean, I guess I don't know if he did it on purpose, you know, like, was he like scheming about it? But then again, it's like Minecraft brightness, and so it's so...
And you wouldn't think this would be an on-purpose thing, and then I think there comes the further debate, you know, did it actually have the impact of them running the event?
I turn my brightness up all the way on every single game. You know, like when you can see those little boxes that's like, you should be able to see this. You should barely be able to see this. You shouldn't be able to see this. Mine's like all the way up so I can see everything.
My computer, it's all the way down because I can't handle like my computer will die. So I'm always all the way down. Like, if I can see what's in front of me, that's about it. But yes, to your point, I don't think he did it on purpose. But yeah, this is the Minecraft community who you don't really want to mess with. So I imagine it could have been a possible spam in the Twitch chat too.
We'll hire a scientist. Like we'll prove it.
Which usually proves things that are fact. Let's not go down that road. Tfue, technically disqualified is what he called it. Tons of people confused. What could be the first ever Twitch rivals disqualification, and especially of a winner for brightness settings. The Minecraft community never lets us down. And it's a pretty shocking news out there. Something made headlines throughout the pandemic. Unfortunately, very frequently has been the Asian hate ongoing throughout this pandemic. If you guys have missed this, especially here in America, I mean, it's been brutal to watch the several cases of just random people targeting Asians during this pandemic. I mean, there are some brutal clips out there. Now taken in the Overwatch scene is a Overwatch pro known as Fearless, who spoke out in a terrifying clip to listen to about the fear he has down in Texas and in general walking around as an Asian player.
Yeah, it was more or less set up, and Hastro explains a little bit more about this, but like if they're just walking to Envy's office or if they were just standing outside in between practices, like they had experiences of people coming up to them and harassing them more or less in different ways. They would cough on them, you know, call them names, call them effing Chinese, stuff like that. And these are just Korean players and Korean coaches who are trying to play for Dallas Fuel, more or less, and they're out there getting harassed by people. And that was something that was brought to attention that I don't think even like Hastro was initially aware of. Like, I don't think they knew that this was happening until he made the statement. But to see Hastro come out afterwards and support them, I think was really cool for me, at least.
Yeah, obviously the right call. I think Hastro deals with a lot of these situations, especially the serious ones, pretty well. I remember some cases back in the day involving some Call of Duty players where if it does get to that serious point, Hastro's been known to just post a video on social media like he did here. But it's really sucky that some people have that mindset where you can just hate on someone for such a seemingly menial thing, right? Like, especially when it came down to just because there were some people who targeted them because they were the only ones wearing masks.
Yeah.
As if that's some sort of identifier. It's so weird that people can reach that kind of level.
I agree. And it's hard to see, and Hastro does point this out again, of saying like, hey, like, we want you guys to know that the city of Dallas does support you and that, like, you representing us is important to us. And so it sucks to have people come out and show the other side of it, where it's like they're not the majority, they're just the minority of people who are coming out to show hate and to, you know, harass them in different forms. And on that point, I forgot about this, but he even said in his video, in Fearless's video, that sometimes they'll wear their jerseys around in public so that people know they represent a team, and then they'll face less harassment because of that.
Weird.
Yeah,
and
it's crazy.
And that transition, obviously, to America has to be already hard enough, right? You are changing countries entirely, where your place of living into a completely foreign place,
leaving your family
just to compete, you know, and they're obviously giving their all. So just a sucky circumstance overall. A huge part of the community responding about this, and hopefully a little bit more is being done to at least bring awareness to the situation.
Props to Hastro. He said he would literally walk them home if he needed to himself.
Yeah.
And so it's, again, just reiterating, it's cool to see Envy, Hastro going out of their way to like make sure they support their players.
Certainly so. And something that was being dealt with a lot throughout the latter parts of 2020 was countless accusations in the FGC scene, the fighting game community, as well as the Smash community. Just tons of accusations. If you guys remember those very difficult times for the number of figures that were accused, many of whom rightfully were accused, some of whom were not. It was actually a recent story by Nairo. He has now come out with a YouTube video. I recommend you guys go watch it, of some very serious accusations made his way, which have been apparently cleared. And of course, you know, when this all came out, dropped from his organization, NRG,
Yep.
Also banned on Twitch. So with the first surfacing accusations, we find out that stuff was not true. Those bans are still there, of course, amidst trying to clear up everything. You can imagine what he is going through, but he is now back.
I would say just so people don't like call us out or call us crazy or anything about it, it didn't necessarily come out as not true, but it came out as it was a totally different situation than what was painted. It was painted as Nairo having, you know, sexual allegations with a minor, and it ended up being more of a case where that person, a minor, had taken advantage of Nairo and then blackmailed him into the situation. And so a lot of that coming out and getting to see his responses on YouTube, I think were good. Obviously, he was reading something that he wrote because it's a very serious topic, and a lot of people will do that. But he plans to make his return. I think as we're recording this is Thursday, today, he's going to be returning to YouTube because he's still banned on Twitch, despite the fighting game community clearing him, you know, them having a settlement in court, and a lot of places clearing him overall. We still haven't seen a statement from NRG or Twitch on the situation.
Yeah, and it's obviously a very hairy situation because although it's been cleared legally, the behind the scenes things we haven't seen. I would almost say luckily so, we haven't seen too many cases like this. God forbid we see more like this where it's seemingly a false accusation, or at least a story that becomes so different from what was painted initially, which resulted in a ban and a dropping. And so the question is, what do we see the organization do in NRG? Do you just kind of remain those ties have been severed?
Right.
Or what if you're Twitch? Do you remain with him staying banned? At what point? Where's the line? I don't know how you approach a situation like this.
That's the hardest part, I think, too, with Twitch, because as he stated in his video, he's like, yeah, I've been cleared from, you know, the Smash community and all these different events, but a lot of times I can't really compete anyways because they're streamed to Twitch, and he's a well-known player, so likely he would end up on stream, which wouldn't be allowed because he's banned on Twitch. And so it really does affect him in a lot of different ways. And so seeing him stream on YouTube, we'll just have to see what happens and see if Twitch decides to reverse their ban.
It's so odd because the one comparison I can make is the accusation initially made against him was so serious that, you know, they almost had to drop him and they had to ban him, as compared to maybe some less serious accusations, still pretty bad, of like maybe match fixing or cheating in a video game, is very different from the sexual assault allegations, right?
Right.
We've seen players who remain on the organization until they are then cleared by Riot Games. So an organization is willing to have you, even though you have some serious cheating or match fixing allegations, they're willing to at least keep you on.
Yeah. Until
Riot Games clears you. We obviously are not going to see that in these kind of serious cases where NRG is going to keep you signed until, you know, they for social media reasons they cut you right away. So are they owed to bring you back, or does Twitch owed to unban you? I don't know where this is very complicated.
Yeah, I think we know how social media works. Like from NRG's perspective, they cut ties already, and there's really no reason for them to backtrack on that. You know, like at the end of the day, people on the internet are still going to send hate to Nairo because of the situation. Even though it's been cleared, people are still just going to hate on him. You know, that's kind of how it's going to happen. And NRG, like as a brand, do you take that step to like invite that back in?
Or do you just kind of let it fade away into obscurity,
right?
Which is probably the more... And then with Twitch, it's an entirely different situation because, you know, that's a platform that, I mean, can you... It's really, really tough. I really don't know where you go from here. And
I don't think we know a Twitch now, especially with that new information coming out, you know, about them like being able to ban people for stuff outside of Twitch. So who knows where they're going to go with it.
Yeah, we will see what the future of Nairo is. He has returned, though, and for now, his new home will just be YouTube. And a very last story for all of you guys. Yes, we talked about Valkyrae and Courage, now co-owners of 100 Thieves. Valkyrae also making her debut in the New York Times. A lot of these big outlets, especially from traditional media, getting involved in gaming esports. Great to see her story actually shared there, her first time in New York Times, while someone else actually was calling out the New York Times for not making the bestseller list. That being, of course, good old Dr. Disrespect, releasing his book just over a week ago, to which he has now said and added them on Twitter saying, "Hey, New York Times, a book that made top 15 on your new bestseller list sold under 5,000 copies. We sold more than that first day of announcing, and we didn't even make the list. You're an effing scam." So huge congrats to Valk for making her debut. Maybe going to read through that because she did clarify, I believe, in that post or in the announcement later on, that 100 Thieves wants more female creators. Meanwhile, Doc, obviously very upset.
Right. I don't know how things work at the New York Times, to be honest, so I don't know like what they're taking into account here for their lists, but there was also the case that was very interesting to me of Doc being the #1 best-selling on Amazon for Minecraft guides and like for so many different things that he was like. I mean, I didn't read the book. Maybe there is a Minecraft guide in there. I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
what, you don't know?
Right, I don't know. Sorry, I didn't go through it. And so it is interesting to see like, were they just unaware of this Dr. Disrespect book, or did they see it and they're like, we don't want that on our list, you know?
Yeah, but he's also been known to kind of maybe kind of, you know, was it really sold as well as he said?
Right.
In his response, he goes on about that. I'm sure he sold more than some of the books on their bestseller, but, you know, are you ever going to be made a New York Times bestseller if you call out the New York Times for being an effing scam? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll like that too much. And like you said, yeah, who knows what the actual stats were on the sales. He was already calling it a New York Times bestseller as soon as released.
Yeah, so it might have been a bit embellished because that is his character. But either way, the balls to actually call out New York Times on social media is pretty risky. But it seems the book is actually doing just fine. In case you guys want to check it out, Valkyrae.
That's all right.
Ray makes New York Times. Doc calls him out and put on a show. As per usual, we hope you guys all enjoy the Esports Rewind podcast. Thank you all for leaving comments. If you guys want to follow us on all the social medias, we really do enjoy your engagement on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, the website. Thank you all so much.
You name it. We're everywhere.
Yeah, we are. Look, turn around. There we are.
We're right behind you. Close your eyes.
Here we are.
There we go.
Okay, we'll see you guys next time. Until then, we love you. Okay, bye-bye.